Hey everyone, welcome to our masterclass on healing the mother's wound, and I am so glad that you are here today. And so, we are going to dive deep into some stuff about our relationships with our moms and how they shape us. So, let's kick things off. You know, when you've got this feeling deep down like something's not quite right, that's what we're talking about today. It's this thing called the mother's wound. And it's basically all the emotional stuff we carry from our experiences with our moms. So, now before we dive in, let me make one thing super clear. This isn't about blaming our moms. Nope, not at all. It's about understanding how our early experiences with them impact and shapes us later in life. Think about this like this: when we were little, our moms are like our superheroes. They are here for us when they scrape our knees, they tuck us in at night, and they make everything better with just a hug. But sometimes life gets messy. Maybe our moms weren't able to be there in the way we needed, or maybe they had their own stuff going on that made things tricky. And that's where the mother wound comes in. It's like this backpack we carry around filled with all the good stuff from our childhood, like happy memories and life lessons. But then there are those heavy rocks: the hurt, the pain, the stuff we wish we didn't have to carry. But here's the thing: we're not stuck with this backpack forever. Nope, not even close. So today we are going to start unpacking it. We are going to shine a light on those heavy rocks, explore where they came from, and then figure out how we can let them go, and because they no longer serves us. So let's get ready for some real talk, some deep dives, and maybe even a few light bulb moments along the way. It is going to be a journey, one that's all about understanding ourselves a little better, healing old wounds, and stepping into our power. Ready to dive in? Awesome. Let's do that. Alrighty, so let's deep dive into understanding the mother's wound. This is such an important topic, and I'm really glad we have the time to explore it together. So, what exactly is the mother's wound? Well, let's break it down together. Think of it like this: it's the emotional residue from our early experiences with our moms. From the moment we are born, our moms play a huge role in our lives. They are like the main characters in the story of our childhoods. But sometimes that story isn't all about rainbows and butterflies. Sometimes there's pain, hurt, and unmet needs. So, now before we go any further, let's get one thing straight. This isn't about blaming our moms. Not at all. It's really about understanding how our relationships with them shape us for the better or for worse. Our moms are human just like us, and they have their own strengths and struggles. Sometimes they are able to show up for us in exactly the way we need, and in other times they fall short. And that's okay. That's just being part of being human. But here's the thing: even though our moms may have done the best they could with what they had, their actions or lack thereof can still leave a mark on us. And that's where the mother wound comes in. It's like this invisible backpack we carry around filled with stuff, all the stuff from our past, both good and bad. On one hand, we might have happy memories of baking cookies together or snuggling up for bedtime stories, but on the other hand, we might also carry the weight of unmet needs, emotional neglect, or even abuse. Now, I know that talking about this stuff can really be uncomfortable. It's not easy to acknowledge that we carry pain from our past, especially when it involves our moms, who are supposed to be our nurturers and protectors. But here's the thing: healing begins with awareness, and that's why we're here today, to shine a light on those dark corners of our emotional landscape and begin the process of healing. So let's take a moment to reflect on our own experiences. What comes up for you when you think about your relationship with your mother? And are there any moments or memories that stand out to you? Now take a few minutes to jot down your thoughts or share them with a partner if you feel comfortable. You can stop the recording at any time and then continue as you wish. Okay, so let's dive into the fascinating world of family dynamics. This is where things can get really interesting because our families are like the backdrop of our lives, the setting where the drama unfolds. So, what exactly are family dynamics? Well, think of them as patterns, roles, and relationships that shape the way and how we interact with each other within our families. Every family has its own unique dynamics, right? Influenced by factors like culture, upbringing, and personal dynamics, personal characters, personalities. Now, let's break it down a bit further. Imagine your family as a stage play. Each family member has a role to play: the caretaker, the rebel, the peacemaker. You get the point. These roles aren't necessarily assigned consciously. They are often developed over time based on the needs and dynamics of the family. For example, maybe you grew up as the responsible older sibling, always looking out for your younger brothers and sisters. Or perhaps you were the family clown, using humor to diffuse tension and bring joy to those around you. Whatever the case may be, these roles can shape how we see ourselves and how others see us. But here's where it gets really interesting. Sometimes these roles aren't so healthy. Sometimes they are based on dysfunctional patterns or unmet needs within the family. And that's when things can get a bit messy. For example, maybe you grew up in a family where emotions were never talked about, so you learned to suppress your feelings and put on a brave face or a brave front, even when you were hurting inside. Or perhaps you were raised in an environment where conflict was avoided at all costs, so you learned to keep the peace at all costs, even if it meant sacrificing your own needs and desires. These patterns and roles can have a profound impact on our relationships with our mothers and the development of the mother's wound. They can influence how we relate to our mothers, how they relate to us, and how we see ourselves in relation to them. But here's the good news: awareness is the first step towards change, and by shining a light on these family dynamics, we can begin to understand how they've shaped us and start to break free from unhealthy patterns. So let's take a moment to reflect on our own family dynamics. What roles did you play in your family growing up? And how did these roles influence your relationship with your mother? Take a few minutes to journal or discuss with a partner if you feel comfortable. Let's shift our focus now to a powerful tool for healing: the practice of self compassion. This is where the magic happens. So, what exactly is self compassion? Well, think of it as being kind and understanding to yourself, especially in moments of struggle or pain. It's about treating yourself with the same warmth and care that you would offer to a good friend. Now I know what you might be thinking, but isn't that just being selfish? No, not at all. In fact, self compassion is the opposite of selfishness. It's about recognizing your own humanity and then embracing our imperfections with kindness and acceptance. Imagine this: you are feeling down about something, a mistake perhaps you made at work, a disagreement with a friend, or maybe just a bad day in general. Instead of beating yourself up or criticizing yourself for not being perfect, you offer yourself words of kindness and encouragement, like you would to a friend in need. You might say something like this: "It's okay to make mistakes. You're doing the best that you can, and that is enough." That, my dears, is self compassion in action. It's about being your own best friend, your own cheerleader, your own source of comfort. And let me tell you this: it's a game changer when it comes to healing the mother's wound. So, how do we cultivate self compassion in our lives? Well, it starts again with awareness. Notice when you are being hard on yourself or engaging in self criticism. Pause for a moment and then ask yourself, What would I say to a friend in this situation? Then offer yourself the same kindness and understanding. Another powerful practice is self-soothing. This could be anything that brings you comfort and helps you feel grounded. Whether it's taking a warm bath, going for a walk in nature, or cuddling up with a good book. Whatever it is, make time for it regularly and allow yourself to fully immerse in the experience. And let's not forget about mindfulness. This is all about being present in the moment and observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment. It's like being the calm observer of your own inner world, rather than getting caught up in the whirlwind of emotions. Now, I won't lie to you, practicing self-compassion isn't always easy. It can feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you are used to being hard on yourself. But trust me when I say that it's absolutely worth it. The more you practice, the easier it becomes, and the more you reap the benefits in terms of emotional well-being and resilience. So let's take a moment to reflect on how we can incorporate self-compassion into our lives. What are some small acts of kindness you can offer yourself each day? How can you prioritize self-care and self-compassion even in the midst of life's challenges? Take a few minutes to journal or discuss with a partner. If you do feel comfortable, and at any time, please stop the recording and continue with your thoughts. So now that we have discussed and talked about the power of compassion and healing, let's talk about reclaiming your personal power. Because guess what? You've got more power than you think. Now, when we talk about personal power, what do we mean? Well, it's about owning your truth, standing tall in your authenticity, and taking back control of your life. It's all about setting boundaries, speaking your truth, and honoring your own needs and desires. So how do we reclaim our personal power, especially in the context of healing the mother's wound? Well, it starts with setting boundaries. Boundaries are like fences around your emotional garden. They protect what's precious to you and keep out what's harmful or toxic. Setting boundaries isn't about building walls or shutting people out. It's about honoring yourself and your needs. It's about saying yes when you mean yes and no when you mean no, even if it means disappointing others or rocking the boat. But here's the thing, setting boundaries isn't always easy. Nope, not at all. It can feel uncomfortable, even downright scary at times. But trust me when I say it's worth it. The more you practice setting boundaries, the easier it becomes, and the more empowered you'll feel in your relationships in your life. Another important aspect of reclaiming your personal power is speaking your truth. This means expressing your thoughts, feelings, and needs honestly and authentically, even if it feels vulnerable or uncomfortable. Now, I know that speaking your truth can be daunting, especially if you have spent your life hiding behind masks or playing roles to please others. But here's the thing, your truth is your power. It's what sets you free and allows you to live a life that's true to who you are. So how do we reclaim our power and speak our truth? Well, it starts with self-awareness. Take some time to reflect on what's important to you, what you value, and what you need in your relationships. Then, find the courage to communicate those needs and boundaries clearly and assertively. And finally, let's talk about self-advocacy. It's all about advocating yourself and your needs, even when it feels uncomfortable or intimidating. It's about standing up for yourself, asserting your rights, and advocating for the care and respect you deserve. So now, let's take a moment to reflect on how we can reclaim our personal power. What boundaries do you need to set in your life? What truths do you need to speak? And how can you advocate for yourself and your needs with courage and confidence? Take a few minutes to journal or discuss with a partner if you feel comfortable, and then stop this recording and come back whenever you are ready. Okay, so now it's time to talk about integration and moving forward. This is where the rubber meets the road, beautiful souls. So let's start by reflecting on everything we've learned and experienced today. We've delved deep into the mother's wound, unpacked our family dynamics, and discovered the transformative potential of self-compassion. It's been a journey, one filled with insights, aha moments, and maybe even a few tears. But that's okay. And here's the thing, knowledge alone isn't enough. Real change happens when we take what we've learned and apply it in our lives. It's about integrating these teachings into our daily routines and then making them a part of who we are. So, how do we do that? Well, let's start with intention. Take a moment to set an intention for how you want to continue your healing journey moving forward. Maybe it's committing to practicing self-compassion every day. Or perhaps it's setting boundaries with your family members to protect your emotional well-being. Whatever it is, make it specific, actionable, and then achievable. So next, let's talk about support. Healing is a journey, and it's okay to ask for help along the way. Reach out to friends, family members, a therapist or coach who can support you on your path to healing. Surround yourself with people who will uplift you, encourage you, and hold space for your growth. And let's talk about resilience. Healing the mother's wound isn't always easy. It can be messy, it can be uncomfortable, and it can be very difficult, and it will take time. But remember, you are stronger than you think you are. You already have taken the first step by showing up here, and that's something to be proud of. Alright, beautiful souls, as we come to the end of our masterclass journey on healing the mother's wound, let's take a moment to reflect on all that we have uncovered and discussed. Throughout our time together, we've dived deep into the complexities of the mother's wound, explored the intricate dynamics of family relationships, and learned powerful strategies for healing and growth. It has been an incredible journey, one filled with insights, breakthroughs, and moments of profound connection. But our journey doesn't end here. Far from it. Healing is a lifelong process, a journey to self-discovery, self-compassion, and self-empowerment. And while our time together here has laid the groundwork for that journey, the real work happens outside these walls. In the moments when we choose to show up for ourselves, to lean into discomfort, and to embrace the messy, beautiful process of healing. So as you leave here today, I want you to leave with this. You are worthy of love, healing, and happiness. You are capable of healing old wounds, breaking free from unhealthy patterns, and stepping into the fullness of who you truly are. And no matter where you are on your journey, know that you are not alone. You have a community of support behind you, cheering you on every step of the way. So as you go forth from this place, may you carry with you the lessons learned, the insights gained, and the courage to continue your healing journey with grace and resilience. May you cultivate self-compassion, set healthy boundaries, and honor the sacredness of your own journey. Thank you for joining me on this transformative adventure. It has been an honor and a privilege to walk this path with you. And remember, the door is always open should you ever need a listening ear, a guiding hand, or a safe space to explore your healing journey further. I am here for you. Wishing you peace, healing, and profound growth on your journey ahead.